My name is Mark Rubin, and I'm a dream weaver. I hope these widgets help you weave your dreams into reality. I mentioned on an earlier video, this project's based on some philosophies I learned at the Tracker School from someone named Tom Brown Jr. Tom Brown Jr. was taught the Apache style of living in harmony with nature through his grandfather, someone named Stalking Wolf. And Stalking Wolf was an Apache scout. And he spent all of his life walking as far south as you could go and as far north as you could go, back and forth from like the Arctic to the southern tip of South America. And he learned from indigenous people along the way that they lived in harmony with the rest of nature, including like, various, survival skills, but also customs, philosophies, cultures. And one common thread that Stalking Wolf observed from these people is related to planning for the survival and thriving of future generations, 7 future generations, which is around 500 years. The people that are tied to their habitat through food production and cycles and variability, weather, these patterns around us that aren't protected by money and aren't insulated by structures that can, increase or decrease the temperature, or with technologies and tools that can move water, like pipes and pumps and things like that. People that are connected to the land plan a lot further ahead for the survival and thriving of their DNA as it propels forward through space and time. What I observed, that was about 14 or 15 when I learned this. And I was comparing that to like people I know who don't plan far ahead at all, or at all, ever, and take every day as it comes as if it's a fresh day, which is a luxury afforded to us by money, because money is a way to store energy. So if money is in a bank, it can be traded in the future for food, at least with some degree of confidence. But if you live in a part of the world where you don't have electricity and you're tied to the natural rhythms, you can't bank energy for very long. There's some ways to preserve food with fire and smoking and drying. And some food lasts longer than others, and some food lasts thousands of years, like honey. But overall, the luxury we have with money is we can store it for later. And that is an advantage that makes us efficient, but it also abstracts us from our habitat. And so this story is about the importance of planning for the thriving of 7 future generations, 500 years. And the first aspect of this part of the project, and this will be discussed at Honey Like Lamping, is the fact that for any species that reproduces, their DNA is living in the future. And if they're successful in reproducing and their future generations reproduce, then their DNA lives on. I think what's important is as important as it is for like the genetic code to move on into the future, the stories need to go with it. The stories of what's important and why. I feel like, I think religion played a role in this more a long time ago for a lot of people. The further away we get from the rest of nature, the further away we get from the idea that we can either leave the planet worse than we found it or better than we found it. If the objective of people that have children is to keep them alive, if we can agree that that's an objective, are happy, healthy, and alive, that they could potentially reproduce in the future. But if they did, then the idea would keep that generation alive. Like if we can agree like that we're trying to like improve the lives of future generations, then planning for their survival and thriving makes a lot of sense to start doing now.